best friend is having some sort of a ghost situation. It's not horribly serious, it's not dangerous, but it is the first time she's really dealt with any sort of spiritual malarkey. And it's definitely the first time her boyfriend has dealt with that sort of spiritual malarkey. I don't know a lot about the haunting. It's been like a couple of small incidents, circuits blowing, things being moved. It is mostly focused on the boyfriend, and I've been requested to help. I'm heading there later today, maybe to fix it, maybe to just gather information. But before I do that, I figured I would hit the books and start sketching out a floor powder and maybe like a wash, or like what sort of herbs and also rocks would be useful. So for books, I've got Under the Bramble Arch by Corinne Boyer. Observe the book, which is a look at specifically wild plants and weeds and things that grow, things that aren't flowers and trees. It's not culinary herbs, it's the plants that are fucking survivors. Like thistle, like blackthorn, like blackberries, like roses, like ivy. So there's definitely going to be some good protection, and I'm pretty sure some ghosty stuff here. I've also got The Witch's Cupboard by Anna Zollinger and Brie McGarren. Observe a book, which is a bunch of recipes specifically for powders and stuff, which is my wheelhouse, baby. And finally, The Herbal Alchemist's Handbook by Karen Harrison. This is one of my first books on herbalism and magic, or at least the first one that really like sang to me, because all of this is just plants and some associations, like a paragraph on each plant, and then all the stuff before is about the ways you use herbs and also the planetary alignments of herbs. And while I don't believe in astrology, I do think that it's a useful way, like the planets are a useful way of categorizing plants that have a similar energy. And it's not that like things are inherently Martian or that Mars literally has dominion over the pepper plant, so much as Mars is our category of a fiery, move forward, spiky energy. And so all the plants that have that get put into the category. You feel me? You feel me. So yeah, I will be making just a pile of little notes in a cute little black cat notebook to start sketching out the magical protocol I want to ward this house, to cleanse this house, to maybe intermediate between my friend and the spirits, maybe to confirm that this is a haunting and not like a curse or just fucking life. Yeah, protection, banishing, spirit work, cleansing are like the things I'm looking for. Let's get started with a research montage. Baby! Is it weird to be doing research at the kitchen counter? Maybe. It makes me feel more adult than doing shit on my couch. Since I'm here and thinking about it and you're stuck researching with me, something that really gets my fucking goat is when a recipe is described in parts, like 1 part this, 2 parts that, and then includes a fraction of a part, because the entire point of the part system is that 1 part is the smallest unit that will be in the recipe. This is just me being persnickety. Part of the reason I pulled out this book specifically, other than sorts of brambly, strappy plants hold a special place in my heart, but is also because I know it's got a big ol' section on English ivy, and I do know I have that in my backyard. Summary! I pulled 2 banishing powder recipes from The Witch's Cupboard. There are a lot of others that would have been useful, but they require more witchy herbs. I don't have all heal and hyssop and St. John's wort sitting around. The banishing powders that I copied the recipes for use kitchen ingredients. From Under the Bramble Arch, confirmation that ivy will be useful. Ivy has connections with funerals and cemeteries because it's found growing there very often, and it's also good for protection, so like we're covering 2 of my bases there. And then mugwort, fuck yeah, is, according to this book, just like gold star next to St. John's wort for protection specifically from spirits and also talking to spirits. And I have a lot of mugwort in the house. For all that I don't have non-kitchen plants, I do have mugwort. And then maybe I'll use some dandelion leaves as part of like the divination to double check what's actually in this situation. Like, is it a haunting? Is it a hex? Is it just some fucking bad vibes? But the dandelion isn't as like S tier as the mugwort is. Mugwort S tier, ivy probably A tier, dandelion B tier is, I think, where we're at. Herbal Alchemist Handbook, done. Page through. It reminded me that bay leaf, garlic, and juniper are all good herbs for this situation. I feel like garlic is a little bit, I'll say S tier, because it is banishing things and protecting. Bay leaves is used a little bit to banish energies, and also is used in divination a lot. And juniper is burned to clear out spirits. So I think today is actually just going to be figuring out what the problem is and how big it is. So that's going to be a hot divination moment. So that means I should bring cards or runes, or I don't think a pendulum. I think it's going to be cards. I don't think they're going to have charcoal where I can burn mugwort on. So I'm going to see if I can do a mugwort tea and some bay leaves to burn while I do stuff. Because you can just kind of burn them and they're fine. And that'll help me assess the situation. And I'm gonna hit it with I believe this is cedar. It's for cleansing. It's not white sage, don't worry. I figure even if nothing's going on and I don't actually need to do any banishing or protection, a quick hit with the nice smelling smoke is always pleasant. And then I will come back on a different day to decide whether we're doing like heavy duty banishing and protection, whether I'm talking to spirits, whether I'm dealing with just like a very small thing. We'll figure that out and do that on a different day. I think that's my protocol. I've picked out this nice dreamy gray and blue cloudy type pattern for the little dream pillow that I'm going to make for my friend's boyfriend. I figured this will be a nice size for something that can go tucked inside the pillow without being a problem. That's the size of the little pillow we'll be making, and then the pattern I want for them is one side I want to have a cloud and a closed eye, and then the other side I want to have the planetary symbols for the moon and Saturn. Saturn being that nice protective energy, the moon being the subconscious and dreaming shit. See, I've learned from my last attempt at embroidery when I did my priestessing robe, and I am going to be using a pen and a pattern to decide what I'm doing as an embroidery hoop to keep the fabric taut while I work. I had originally wanted the closed eye to be inside the cloud, but that looks kind of unbalanced. Whereas if it's below, that kind of fills out the space better, but also I think just looks bad. So I think I'm gonna leave it up here. And then we're gonna embroider these in like blue. I have like a blue-gray, I've got a white. That reads correctly. And then here, so the sigil for Saturn, it's here on my finger. I want these kind of like interlaced. Do I have? Nope, that's too big. Oh, hell yeah. I'm putting a lot more effort into making sure that this looks good than I put into my priestess robe, because this is going to somebody else, you know? this looks bad, someone else has to deal with it. Whereas if my priestess robe looks kind of meh, I'm the only one who has to really care about it. Okay, so this is behind. So I think that means this needs to be in front, and I think that's it. We'll figure out what stitches I use as I'm going. Here we are. Nice little moon in Saturn. Nice little sleeping eye. In the reading that I did and in the research that I did on my friend's haunting, the biggest problem is just that he's having dreams that are fucking a lot and becoming problematic. A little blend of stuff that is calming and helps sleep, and my hope is to help him pull the important messages out of the dreams, because I think they are coming from ancestors, beloved dead, etc., trying to give him useful information and just being bad at it, because sometimes when you're dead it's really difficult to be not scary and not stressful. Lavender and chamomile are here to make sleep more restful. The vervain is a combination, make things better for him to be psychic, like manage that, and also helps when dealing with spirits. Where are you? Oh, you've got the jasmine. I'm gonna throw some jasmine flowers in, because jasmine's also a really good lunar herb. And then the mugwort helps with sleep and with prophetic dreams and like understanding them, and then also the vervain and the mugwort both help when like protecting the brain and protecting oneself against spirits. I know it looks like really bad pot, but I promise if you sniff it, it's not dank weed. I really need an herb grinder. I'm not a pothead. I used to think that those were only for potheads or people who were trying to smoke shit, but like... The nice thing about a little sachet like this is that the herbs don't have to be perfectly food grade. I'm going to tear up some strips of fabric to finish stuffing this, making sure it's as puffy and cute as possible, and then I will close up the opening, and then I will hit it with an iron or a hair straightener to get rid of the remaining red. But we're at the like 80-90% stage. This is just a final note about that haunting that my friend was experiencing, and the cleansing that I did on her house and the protection that I did on her house, and then the sleep charm that I gave her for her boyfriend. It's been at least a month and possibly 2 months. I'll have to check the timestamps. Clearly it's been long enough that my hair is different. There's been no more hauntings. Everything's been pretty quiet and normal and natural, so I'm calling that a victory. Thanks for coming along with me on this little spellcraft journey. Like, hype, subscribe, etc. for more of this. I post makeup videos and cooking videos and crafting videos, as well as, you know, all from a pagan slant, as well as videos on the practice of priestessing and pagan culture. This has been Kate Bogg, one of many lanterns. Here's hoping you shine bright.